Believe it or not, there was a point in time when silence was considered normal. We didn't need constant sound to feel alive, we just were. During long drives, all we heard was the buzzing of the tires rolling on the road. Showers softly echoed with the pitter-patter of water droplets hitting the porcelain floors. Mornings began in quiet serenity, if not maybe accompanied by the gentle call of a morning dove. Silence was all we knew, and we found comfort in it. But over the last decade or so, those moments slowly began to fade, and these days, they're all but gone. We listen to podcasts while brushing our teeth, we play videos while cooking, drives and showers are now filled with Spotify playlists blaring out of speakers, and mornings, well, rather than starting off with stillness, mornings are now occupied by a little device known as a cell phone. Almost immediately upon waking, we crave entertainment, the endless scrolling, the constant visual and auditory stimulation, the distraction from the world. Every moment of our waking life is filled in this way. Even now, this video has to have sounds and music beyond my voice so that people will find it stimulating and engaging and won't click away. Noise has become the new normal. But if our minds are constantly filled with all the noise, when do we ever have time to sit alone with our thoughts and consider who we are, what we believe, what we value? When do we have a quiet moment to just think? For the vast majority of human history, people had no choice but to embrace silence. Smartphones and MP3 players have only been around since the 1990s. Televisions emerged in the 1920s. Even radios and other in-home music players have only been around for less than 200 years. Apart from being out in public or interacting with family, most of our time was spent in silence. Our only form of entertainment was our thoughts. People used their alone time to think about the world, to confront their fears and desires, to figure out what they had to offer the world and how they could deliver that. There's a reason so many thought leaders and world-renowned writers came before the 1900s. Today, we have so many inputs, so much noise taking up space in our minds that we never have time to reflect. Instead, we've chosen to outsource reflection to therapists, content creators, or worst of all, we ignore it altogether. If you feel lost, how can you ever hope to find your way if you never have a quiet moment to actually give it some thought? Is it true that none of us know what we want to do with our lives? Or could it just be that we've never given ourselves enough silence to hear it? The possibility is there. The answers we seek really may be that simple to obtain, and yet we choose not to do that. We much rather drown out the quiet moments with constant noise. So maybe we don't avoid silence because we hate it, or even because we're addicted to sound. Maybe we're just afraid of whatever may come up when we actually think. Much of our early life, and particularly our teenage years, are spent forming a sense of identity. We form an idea of who we are based on our culture, traditions, and lived experiences. We build defense mechanisms meant to protect us from pain, shame, and fear, and we adopt belief systems that we believe will guide us through life. Having time to think means that you will inevitably reflect on these things, which naturally will lead you to question their validity. You'll question how much of it is authentic and how much you merely accepted because it was familiar. When you confront yourself in this way, you threaten the very self-image you've spent your entire life building, and our egos don't like that very much. On top of that, you will also eventually come face to face with parts of yourself you constantly try to repress. Mistakes you've made, failures you've suffered, the people you hurt. In short, sitting in thought will almost always lead you to question the very foundation of who you think you are, and that's a scary thought. In a way, I can understand why so many people choose to take the easy route and quiet those thoughts with constant noise. But the people of old didn't have a choice. The silence they were accustomed to meant they were going to have to face themselves in this very way at some point or another. And while I'm sure it was no easier for them than it is for us, they made it through. And in doing so, many of them seemed to live richer and more gratifying lives. People weren't living to try and escape the mundane was the thing they were living for. Working to provide for their families, tending to their gardens, taking long walks in the evenings. Those routines are what gave their lives structure and purpose, and they can do the same for us. It just takes some deep thinking and reflection to realize that. The things we choose to think about, the things we choose to focus on, these are the things that will ultimately decide our future. If you're always thinking about ways to improve, about new things you'd like to learn, about business ideas you'd like to try, chances are you will accomplish those things and become a better person in the process. But these days, it's so easy to overload your thinking capacity with noise and stimulation that even when you do find yourself in silence, all you can think about is the noise and stimulation you just came out of. But think about this. If Marcus Aurelius was right, if our life is made up of our thoughts, and our thoughts never amount to more than a slight chuckle while scrolling through TikTok, what the is our life ever going to amount to? I truly believe that this is a huge part of why young people feel so lost these days. Of course, it's only one of many factors, but it's definitely a big contributor. We're all just sitting around with AirPods in our ears, scrolling on our phones, hoping that we're gonna have a light bulb moment that will answer the biggest question of our life. What should we dedicate our life to? But this answer isn't something that just pops in at random. Finding it takes time, it takes effort, it takes focused thinking and introspection. It takes moments of silence. So this week, I have a challenge for you. Over the next 7 days, I want you to make a commitment to try and find a single moment of silence every day. It doesn't have to be super long or even something that you schedule into your day. Just find a moment where you can be present with nothing but your thoughts. Drive home from work with no music. Go to the bathroom without your phone. Take those AirPods out of your ears and go for a walk. The whole point is that you let your mind wander beyond the memes and the TikToks and the songs that keep us perpetually distracted. Give yourself permission to just think. Do that every day this week, and you might be surprised by what comes up. But with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.